Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Boston Red Sox. We are World Series champions. We have been to the we've made it to the promised land and come away with a desperately needed victory. I mean, desperately is a bit of an exaggeration. We've gone to three consecutive World Series and won the third. I'd say we're off to a pretty great start. Now it's up to us doing it again. And we also have a lot of coaches. We're rebuilding the coaching staff to be better and more efficient. So let's get going with that. I'm gonna say assistant GM until last because, practically speaking, I don't know what actual effect an assistant GM has other than chemistry, and so I want to make sure that I pick the right person from that perspective. Um, But there is very little reason that we could not run it back and have an equally good season next year. And the return of Oscar Charleston only gives us even more flexibility. So a lot's going to depend on. I don't think we're going to be super active this offseason, other than hiring coaches, but I could be persuaded. For the right player, I might be willing to spend a bit of cash. Because we got plenty of it. Why is this in here twice? That's very lame. I know why it is. Is this what I want? That's not a terrible little graph to have there. It's a nice reminder of how much money we have. So I don't have to keep clicking over to front office, but hmm. No. I'd rather do that. I just like being able to see minor league system, even though we don't have one yet. Maybe someday. Anyways, yes, so it may not be super active this off season, but you can always get better. I just don't know where the obvious hole, if there is one, is. That is a topic we'll think about once we get a little bit deeper into the offseason. We could always use a better fourth starter. That's always a possibility. Feeney Branahan, you're fucking incredible. I'm so glad we got you. Let's get some coaches. I think I'd like to start with a hitting coach. We could hire Connie Mack to be our bench coach. That would be hilarious. But I don't have us opening that. Hiring him to be our third base coach would be funny as shit. Um, I kind of think we have to do it just for the lulz. Um, oh, he wants to be a manager. That's fair. I guess he is Connie fucking Mack, so he's entitled to do what he wants. Let's go ahead and grab Tim Underwood. Really? Why don't you want to be the hitting coach for Boston? Hmm. And Hector Lujan would be a decent choice. Oh, wait a minute. Was Tim Underwood already my hitting coach? No, he wasn't. Hector Lujan isn't a terrible idea. He's not exactly what I want in a major league hitting coach, but he is fairly young. And he'd get along really good with my hitters, so I think Mr. Lujan is the answer here. Why don't you want to be my hitting coach? Wow. What the fuck, man? I've never had this happen before. Like, Hugo Medina is not really what I want, but I guess I'm running out of options. Okay, you would sign a hitting coach contract, okay. Man, Why don't you want to be my hitting coach? I am doing sad, but that's all right. Hugo Medina it is. Pitching coach. And definitely not Tom Allen. But Ambrose Putman, maybe. Yeah, let's do it. We'll offer Ambrose here a job if he wants it. There we go. Oh, you know what? I bet if I actually select the position, it'll tell me who actually wants the job. That's what I should have done the whole time. What am I looking at in terms of current staff cohesion? Temperamental is good. Basically, anything but personable is fine. Personable is the one thing we don't want. We've already got Putnam. Is there anything that we stink at? What does H run for? Oh, in-game running. I see. Reserve roster, please and thank you. I might use my calling the minors and get rid of some of these guys potentially. You know where we've really struggled though, in all honesty? The draft. If we take a look at what we've drafted, while I think about what kind of coach I want for third base. If you take a look at our draft history, it's not super great. Jones has been fine, but our number one draft pick last year was a second rounder because we didn't get a first rounder, and he sucked. I don't know why we drafted him. I guess at one point he sucked less. Maybe he is getting better, but for right now he's kind of terrible. Oh, we didn't sign our first round pick. That's right, because it was a shitty draft class, and I was hoping to get a better one this year. Duly noted. Okay. Um, we could use a good infield teacher. We could at that. We could use a really good infield teacher. The thing is, most of my players wouldn't get along with Mr. Northcutt here. What about Raja? Not really that great. What about the incredible George Hogreaver? Better. And then I'll check Morrison and Stewart. No, that's some bad relationships there. And then Stewart. You have a decent relationship with most of the players here. But I still think I'd rather have Denzer just because he's a better teacher. No, I don't want to do that. Like Hogreaver is the only other one that gets along well with our coaches, with our players. You know what would be awesome? Yes, relationships. It says poor for everyone. That's not helpful. I think it's because they're not actually employed. Um, that it's fucking it up. Coach ratings, coach tendencies. I'm gonna try this out. Oh, this is so much better. I don't have to guess anymore. That's really good. That's really good. But then it also makes it hard to see everything else. I'm gonna remove the relations rating because that's fucking stupid. It doesn't actually help. Um, Most gonna do manager style. Like I just don't care, especially because I am the manager. Um, there we go. That I like the looks of that. Okay, we're gonna save this as coaching ratings global saved. All right. So now that we have a bit more information, let's go ahead and look at infield again. You don't like temperamentals, which creates issues. Mm. Justin Stewart isn't a terrible choice. He gets along fairly well with a lot of our players. I wonder if he skews veterans. Not quite, but he's pretty close either way. I think Stewart does make the most sense. I don't want you to be the bench coach. I want you to be the third base coach. Oh, I see. Right. There you go. Denzer is the best coach. Like, of the options available to us, Denzer is clearly the best coach. However, there is no however. The relationships aren't great, is maybe my only concern. But he is the best coach available to us. I think we go ahead and make this deal. We give him the third base coach job done. Finally, this is the assistant GM. I'm gonna wait about a week, and then we'll get a new assistant GM. I just want some time to see how players join in, and oh god, we've got to figure out how to juggle these outfield spots. That's gonna be crazy. Here's the thing: playing Heavy Johnson at shortstop isn't the dumbest thing ever. It's maybe not ideal, but he could play shortstop, which would just be ridiculous to have that caliber of an outfield and an elite shortstop. Would be truly hilarious. I might be cool with it though. Up till next week, if you please. Okay. They'll probably all sign, I suspect. I just need them to sign so I can balance out what personalities you really need the most. Putman and Medina have both signed. We're just waiting on Denzer. Another gold glove for Everett Scott. Interesting. Denzer said, "Oh, he wants more money." Okay. Oh, somebody else signed him. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. That really fucks us up a little bit. Third base coach. Wow. Like, these are all genuinely terrible choices. I guess I'll sign Jalen Wells, but I'm not happy about it. Do I just promote my existing? I don't have one. I don't have one. I don't have a minor league coach to sign. You get 1 year, my guy. I need a better third base coach than you. I mean, we could sign Connie Mack as assistant GM, and I think I like that idea quite a bit, actually. Let's do that. All right, that is our coaching staff hopefully set. I should get all kinds of silver sluggers, I bet. I got one, which was Chuck Dressen. Really? Okay. Happy about Chuck Dressen, though. Very happy about that. Um, Brilliant. Vinny Branahan was your unanimous Cy Young winner. I don't know how I didn't get Manager of the Year. I won the fucking World Series. Unless the manager of the Browns got it, which he may have done. Yeah, he did. I didn't even. Oh, this is what happened here. Interesting. We basically split the vote. Um, between the top two Boston players, why we didn't get an MVP. That's fine. I'm not that annoyed by that. Let's jump ahead to Hall of Fame voting, shall we? That is good news. How did you injure your back, Dixon? You chased your dog. You know what, my friend? I literally bent over to pick up a piece of paper and injured my back. So honestly, I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Other people may blame you, but I shall not. Definitely some old Pete right there. Sam Crawford, easy choice. We apparently love us some Jack Powell. I'm not opposed to that, I suppose. Okay, I'll go for Clark Griffith. Chief, Scott, Babe Adams, and probably Fred Clark seems fine. That seems good. Let's go ahead and submit this as our offer. It's the thing. Right. What do we want? I think another starting pitcher would be something worth pursuing. um, I really do think that. Um, like we instantly become a much more powerful team with Heavy Johnson in place of Everett Scott. It's going to be an interesting shift, but I need his bat in the lineup. Y'all are trying to guess his first base. But Grimy has been a really good player for a while for us, and I don't want to give that up if I'm not getting something really good in return. I think Everett Scott is probably my best trade target to maybe try to acquire that additional starting pitcher. I should wait till after the draft though, and then we can make a final determination. Oh, I am sorting by position. I see. Okay. Our outfield is terrifying. Our infield a little bit less so, but we'll see who is around when we actually get to draft. I mean, I'm completely content to run it back with last year's team and just see if we can be even more dominant. I think that's a very fair idea. We do need some depth, though. We are skewing a little bit old in a couple of key positions for center field, and second, shortstop, and I guess catcher. So we depth is the other thing to pursue. Just getting more quality players who can perform, who can play a role in case somebody gets hurt. Although I think starting pitcher is priority number one. This is not a great draft either, is it? Like Mickey Cochran was a Hall of Famer, but the rest of these guys not so much. I guess we'll figure it out. I do have two first round picks now, but I don't think there are two first round picks in this draft. Wow. These are some legit terrible players being offered. Huh. These are bad choices. Pep Hampton isn't amazing, and by any stretch. I wouldn't mind getting Henry Richardson. Let's go ahead and draft Henry Richardson. Um, I like Bud Cheney. I think he's a decent first round pick choice. I mean, granted, none of these are great first round pick choices, but I will take Pep Hampton and we'll just see if he develops naturally. That seems good. Are there any decent hitters in this draft class, regardless of position? Tom Oliver is not a terrible player. I think Mr. Oliver here. Where you go? There he is. I think Mr. Oliver is a fine choice. And then Guy Froman. And then I think I've got what I wanted. I don't really see anybody else here that's all that exciting. Let's go ahead and end the draft. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think any of these players is necessarily going to be making all-star teams, but I think it at least gives us depth. It gives us more options. I think that is something that we need. Last season we really struggled when to find that fourth or fifth starter, and that is something I think we'll need to consider. Let's quickly check the free agent market and see if there's anybody interesting here. I don't hate John Richardson, but I'm also not convinced he's appreciably better than Jones, for example. Boggs wouldn't be terrible either. Um, I have the money. The question is, are we spending our money productively? And that I'm not convinced of. I almost think we're just better off letting our rookies season a little bit. We made everybody a starter now. Whatever. We'll sort it. But yeah, I just don't feel it right now. I truly don't feel there's anybody of note that would make any changes in a significant way. There is there's no defensive second baseman. Okay. Why the fucking hell would you ever leave George Britt available in the Rule 5? He's gonna fall to me? Done. Wow. I don't know if the game just struggles because of the whole Negro League thing. Like, they don't know how to value talent properly, but that's like an ace that was just freely available. I will fucking take it every day of the week, but that's really funny. And Bill Black's not a very good second baseman. I think we're good. Really, nobody wanted George Britt. I cannot fathom why they didn't. That was super dumb. But I'm here for it, man. I am over the moon. Get in here. Oh, you're already there. Okay. Neat. The rich get richer. um, I'm just gonna sim forward. Or do we trade Everett Scott now? What do I want? Like, I guess a top tier starting second baseman would make some sense. But I don't think we have one of those. I don't think anyone's gonna give one up. Let's try it. Let's offer up Everett Scott. Somebody's going to want a two-time Gold Glover and see what might be available to us. All positions. I guess somebody wants Everett Scott. That's fine. I guess we'll keep him as a reserve because I ain't taking Heavy Johnson out of the lineup. Like, that's not happening. It is a non-thing. Come on, Lefty, improve your control ever so slightly, and you'll get a huge roll. It's gonna be great. Nice. We elected Grover Cleveland Alexander and Sam Crawford. The guy who invented shin guards couldn't even make it 4 years on the ballot. I mean, he's not in the Hall of Fame in real life either, so that's fine. You would give me the Ross Eldred. I do not need a mediocre outfielder. This is like Mr. Cray here is marginally tempting because he's not a terrible shortstop, but I'm happy, thanks. All right, Edward Williams got worse. Jones got worse. Hoyt got worse. Holland got worse. Bush got slightly better. Britt got better. Why is everybody just like disintegrated? Like they all look like they suck now. I don't believe you, game. I think you're being stupid right now, and I'd like you to stop. Um, yeah, I'm just not gonna pay any attention to that because it doesn't make any sense. Like it could be rust, right? Like that's the most likely scenario, and that once spring training is done, people will bounce back to where they were. Oh, interesting. That's what OSA believes. Okay. Did we take the garbage out? Too late now. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but the garbage trucks are going by our neighborhood right now. All right. Who on our reserve roster would like some spring training opportunities? Sort by pot. Roman, Richardson, Wolf, Lucas, Hampton, Shaney, and Jones. That seems good. Dustberg just sucks. And then I'm gonna let you do what you want. Really? We're not gonna start George Brett with Rats fucking Henderson, okay? Um, that's probably not how it's gonna work out, but I'll accept it for now. Okay. Oh, let's sim to the end of spring training then. I have noticed that that was an issue in previous versions of OOTP, is that players' ratings would all tank in the off season. No. Bing Miller is average at best. Not interested. Rejected. I'm trading with the fucking Yankees. Fuck you. You can trade with these nuts for all I care. Hmm. No, this is a bad deal. Like, game, stop. Really, dude? Oscar, quit getting hurt. One more week. Would you quit? Oh my god, Charleston. Are you just made of paper at this point? Lord. Okay. Of 17 pitchers, which is an embarrassment of pitchers. Let's start demoting some people to the reserve roster. You can go, you can go, you can go, you can go. Wade Height is a two-time Cy Young winner. Don't be fucking stupid, game. Is it possible my scouting director just sucks? Is that the issue we're running into? No, he's actually a really good one. So I suppose I should be more willing to trust him if he's saying that players don't look as good as they used to. Shady, Richardson, and Lucas all go to the minors. What are we looking at now? 10 pitchers is enough. We're gonna go with Hoyt. So Branahan, Hoyt, and Bush. And then it's so wild, like OSA, even OSA thinks George Britt sucks now. We can keep him around a bit, I suppose. Do we have any really good relievers? We have Ben Carr. Let's go ahead and make Mr. Ben Carr the stopper this year. I'm gonna clear these rules all out, and I'll actually set the rules the way I want them. Pep Hampton seems like a pretty good choice as a reliever. He gets used a little bit more often, so we can do that. But I really want Ben Carr coming in at pretty much any conceivable all any conceivable opportunity because he's actually a genuinely pretty good pitcher. Everyone else can just do their thing. Hmm. And we'll see what happens. We'll go bullpen by committee start the season now. I don't like how I went from a Cy Young winner and his like ability just disintegrated. That's really frustrating. And maybe it'll sort itself out, and maybe it won't. 15 players. I have 16, which means one of them has to go. Carrying 3 catchers seems excessive. Yeah, Walt Larian had one skill that made him interesting, and that skill seems to have vanished, which was his power. If he can't fucking hit for power, then I'd rather keep Buck Ewing, who is a decent all around catcher. Like Mr. Larian gets to go to the reserve roster. I also have way too many people on the reserve roster. Let's do some minors culling. I'll just casually release 125 players, no problem. No, let's set up the lineup and the depth charts. Newt. Alright. Oh, lineups too, please. Thank you. Our best all-around hitter remains Ray Grimes. Grimy, as he likes to be called. And so I think Grimy is a great choice to be our either our number 2 or our number 3. I like him batting second. So that's Grimy right there. Max Carey's gonna lead off again. I think Hani Manouche is going to hit third. And then Heavy Johnson is going to hit cleanup. And Oscar Charleston is going to bat fifth. Then Chuck Dressen is going to hit sixth. No, check that. Wally Shang, then Chuck Dressen. And lastly, good old Specs is going to be our second baseman and our eighth hitter. I don't really want Brazil playing that frequently. Like, I get it. Brazil does have power. Maybe once every 5 games. Let's go with that. Here we go. Now, if I'm right and there's some normalization the next time we have scouting, then I think things will look a little bit better for us, because otherwise a lot of players took a giant hit. It's also possible they were very high peak players, and they've already peaked really early on, but maybe not. Apparently, Earl Webb is the number 6 prospect. I literally don't remember you at all. You are a 14th round pick. Oh, you're an incredible hitter. You are an awful, awful pitcher, but you are an amazing hitter. If I turn him into a first baseman, what does his rating look like? Yeah, he becomes one of the best in the game. I wish he had any skills in the outfield whatsoever, because this is really going to hamper us. But he is a pretty incredible hitter. That may be something that we think about. Do I just have, like, make him the ultimate pinch hitter? Yeah, I'd rather have him than Guy Froman. Let me regenerate depth charts. No. Once a week, once every 5 games is fine. Just making him the ultimate pinch hitter may be like a secret weapon to have, which I'm all for. Because he sure as shit ain't gonna start over Ray Grimes. That is a given at this point in our baseball journeys together. But I think of Brazil being like a super utility guy. He's not a terrible infielder. And I like his power, and I think that's going to be a really nice additional piece to this puzzle. When did I draft Chuck Dressen? Oh, I signed him as a free agent. That's right. That's right. Okay. Let's play some baseball, friends. I guess that's a bigger role for Frank Brazil. Let me go ahead and put him on the IL, though. Who's the next up? Who do I have? Les Burke. Sure. But I will go ahead and let Frankie B here be our second baseman. Because somebody has to do it. And then let me generate a new depth chart. That works. I would say we're off to a terrible start. We've literally played 4 games. How about settle the fuck down, Abby? We don't know shit about shit yet. Okay, some changes. Ben Carr is getting better, which is nice. Nobody else seems to be getting a whole lot better, though. That is problematic. Thank goodness for Wade Hoy. Again, way too early in the season. Like, I don't even care about stats yet. I just care about baseballing abilities. Oh my god, quit getting fucking hurt, Oscar Charleston. Just stop. You've got to be injury. Yeah, your injury proneness is wrecked already. You just get hurt too damn often. Which actually means when he recovers, I think we maybe trade Oscar Charleston and let Cristobal Torriente maybe play in the outfield, or we just find a new outfielder. Or just hell, we let Earl Webb play in the outfield. He ain't that fucking bad. Um, but yeah, Charleston just gets hurt way too often. I think we need to move on from him. As soon as the vagaries of fate will allow me to. I should be able to trade you though, actually. I'm getting good offers. Hi Shoeless Joe. Hi Tris Speaker. Who's this kid? Oh, it's a reliever. Okay. Ross Young doesn't excite me as much as like Shoeless Joe Jackson would. Shoeless Joe would look awfully good in our lineup, I think. The alternative is Tris Speaker. Tris Speaker is really fucking good. But he has the same injury problem that's trading a problem for the exact same problem. I think I'd rather have Shoeless Joe. Let's do it. It had to happen. Shoeless Joe, is he a better left fielder or right fielder? He is a vaguely competent left fielder. We are sacrificing a lot defensively right now. We are sacrificing an awful lot, but I still think it is worth it to have a hitter of his caliber. And I think we swap Joe and Manouche. There you go, done. And then nothing else here is going to change. So on the other side, I wanted to get younger and then instantly get older, but I think we're better off because what's the point of having Oscar Carlson if he just keeps or Charleston if he just keeps getting hurt? That doesn't help anybody. Okay, getting specs back is nice. Burke to Los Miners. Or to the reserve roster, sorry, I keep saying minors. That's not a thing. And good old Specs can play some second base for us. Is it becoming rapidly apparent to me that we've essentially punted on defense and most of the team? I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll figure it out. Um, I think our biggest issue this year so far is I'm not seeing shutouts happening. So our pitching staff was a huge benefit for us last year, and it just hasn't been this year. Okay, Wade Hoyt is getting better, which is good news. Lefty Wolf is about the same. Williams is getting better. Bill Holland is getting better. Grimy is even grimier than before. Chuck Dressen's getting a little bit better. Cristobal Torriente is getting better. Carey's slipping a bit, but Honey Minutia is getting better. I mean, Heavy Johnson is a pretty great player. No question. Our defense isn't as bad as I thought it would be. We actually have a pretty solid team, but we are struggling badly in the pitching staff. I have no idea what happened to Bill Holland this year. He's just getting clobbered. It could be defense. It could be the defense. Sigh. Our starting pitching has gone from one of our greatest strengths to one of our biggest weaknesses. I'm gonna go ahead and push Holland toward the end of the rotation. Let's maybe have him pitch a bit less frequently. It's only 59 innings. That's not a whole lot of time, but he is getting chased out of innings pretty easily. And it's not like his peripherals are appreciably worse, except for the walks. He is walking a lot more people, which is not a great sign. How's the reserve roster going? As a starting pitcher, how does Red Lucas look right now? Not terrible. 2 we give Red Lucas a chance in the major leagues? How has he performed? He hasn't performed at all. Is he improving? He is improving, but his control isn't getting better. And that's going to be a huge issue for us. So I think for right now, let's stick with what we know and let's run it back for another month and then see where we're at. Max Carey missing 4 weeks is not great. I don't really have another outfielder, do I? I don't. I don't want to play a man short, but I don't know what other alternative I have right now. I guess I could check free agency. Is there anybody hanging out that's not terrible? Nip Winters would be a decent addition to the rotation. Possibly. Possibly. Hitters. What do we got? Hack Miller would be a decent bench guy. But I'd like someone who's a little bit more versatile. But maybe he wouldn't be a bad choice. Yeah, I think we will go with that. Let's get a good old Hack. Hmm. But for right now, I guess Toriente steps in to be our center fielder. I don't really have another choice, sadly. Um, we really have almost no depth. We really, truly are struggling to have. It's because we haven't drafted hitters because there haven't been any hitters to draft. We're in a bit of a talent glut. But hopefully over time we'll get some better teams, better players rather. All right, so we got Hack Miller. He'll just slide right in to doing something, and then we'll just go ahead and. What I think is really interesting about this period of baseball history is how difficult it is to make the playoffs. Like it's incredibly difficult. I will happily keep Hack Miller over Tim Hendricks. But Max Carey's getting his job back. Never in doubt. It was a little bit of a break. He just took a little nap. Just a little nap. And let's go ahead and reset the depth chart. The game really wants you to start Frank Brazil. The thing is, Toporser is doing fine. He's not my ideal second baseman, but he's good enough, and I don't want to fuck that up. And Chuck Dresden is doing fine as third baseman, so while I know the game loves him, loves it some Frank Brazil, maybe stop would be my advice to you. All right, and then let us simulate to the end of the month and then see where we're at. Okay, Specs is getting better defensively, which is very important. Joe Bush is getting better, as is Heine. Good old Heine Hines. Um, our defense is pretty bad. Um, who is the worst defender? Who's the worst performing defender at this point? We basically just don't have any plus defenders, is our issue, which is kind of funny. Um, I think second base is our biggest issue. Everett Scott is a great shortstop. I bet he could be a really good second baseman too. But he is hitting very well, and that makes it hard for me to make that kind of move right now. Harry Johnson is extremely error prone, but he's such a good hitter that I don't think it really matters. But yeah, our infield defense is pretty bad. Besides Ray Grimes, thank goodness for Grimy here. He's a pretty good first baseman, but like, what if we traded Frank Brazil for an infielder that could hopefully patch up some of these defensive? I wouldn't mind a proper second baseman. Let's offer him up and see what manner of infielder might be acquired. It is all manner of inferior sort. What about outfielders? And Ray Powell is still not compelling no how many times this game tries to sell it to me. Cuckoo might be a good player someday, but he's not right now. I could get Irish Measle, but I don't need yet another outfielder who can't play the outfield. I think we're fine. I think we'll just stick with what we got for right now. I don't think there is a real way to make a meaningful upgrade at this point in the season. I just kind of have to. I just think we just kind of have to accept the fact that our pitchers are just gonna have to work twice as hard. And I think it's just kind of where we're at right now. I don't really see a way to fix this because I mean, okay, let's at least check on the trade block. Lou Gehrig again. I don't need yet another terrible fielder, but that is vaguely compelling. Rabbit Moranville would actually be a really nice upgrade if we got him to play second base for us. Done. And then Mr. Moranville just slots right into playing second base. This gives us an elite defender in our infield, and I think that's very highly prized. I mean, we could have him play shortstop, but then I don't know what we would do with Heavy Johnson right now. You've got to start hitting better, Mr. Brazil, or your time on this team is going to be coming to an end. We'll just put that out there. That should help us up. I know Specs is actually hitting pretty well, but I do think a better defender up the middle will help us in the long run, potentially. Um, our third base coach is going to get replaced. That's a given. All right, who here is from Boston? Wait Hoyt and Ben Carr and Heavy Johnson all made it. Pretty cool. Haha, get fucked, Babe Ruth. Couldn't even make the All Star team. What a loser. It really seems like there's not very many really fantastic players this year, which means MVP should be interesting. Although, don't sleep on Hank Severeid, which I think is a big reason why St. Louis is playing as well as they are. Like this is ridiculous from a catcher. This is absolutely ridiculous, and he's not this good. Like he isn't. Like I trust my scout. This is not a guy that hits fucking 400. As soon as his batting average starts to dip, I think you're gonna see. I think you're gonna see St. Louis take a stumble. I mean, good for them in the short term, but that's unsustainable by any definition of the word sustainable. So yeah, where is Babe Ruth? Does he just like suck this year? Unclear. Unclear. All right. Let's go to the trading deadline and see if we can maybe make one or two more additions. Like, I'm not opposed to trading to Oriente, but I'm not going to do it for like mediocre players. That just seems silly to me. I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. You're making genuinely terrible offers. Is my problem with you, game? Hmm. No thanks. Let's do the trading deadline, but honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to get anybody of value or interest. All right, what if I offered you for Lou Gehrig, Ray Grimes? How does that sound? It's an amazing deal you can't possibly pass up, right? Okay. I had to try. I had to try, but I knew I wasn't going to get him. Bill Meehan would be a nice addition to the club. What would you cost me? Players are not willing to give up. If I offered you Bill Holland. No, still players are not willing to give up. What if I offered Everett Scott? No? Okay. Well, you know what? Fuck you, mate. I don't want Roger Peckinpah. I don't need a first baseman. Wiley Marshall wouldn't be terrible. Here we go. That's what I like to see. Robert Hugh J. Jones. Almost. You're asking for really good players, though. I don't think I'm willing to do that. I think Frank Brazil is worth giving up for this. Yeah, let's do that. And then I need to get a depth infielder. That's pretty critical to our success. I'm gonna go ahead and just bench Bill Holland, and we're gonna play Wiley Marshall instead as our fifth starter. He can do some bullpen work. One second. Sorry about that. I had a phone call I need to deal with. Anyways, right. We're talking about yes, improving the team, baseballing better. We need a new infielder. Um, we need a new infielder. What do we have available to us, infielder wise? I just want a depth piece. That's all I'm looking for. A nice second baseman shortstop who won't embarrass himself with the glove or with the bat. Art Fletcher isn't terrible, but I'm not going to trade. Oh, they'll be trading with the Giants. That's not so bad. I never would have predicted that Art Fletcher would be the one that drives the fans wild, but okay. Is there anything I can do to make the current team better beyond what I've already done? I really don't think so. I really don't. I could move Feeney Branahan. Yeah, let's make Hoyt the ace. Hoyt's clearly been our best pitcher by a fair bit. So let's make that happen, and let's go ahead and regenerate our depth charts to reflect our shiny new infielder. Why are we casually having Cristobal Toriente playing third base? Can he do that? That's genuinely the worst idea you've ever heard of. Yeah, we need another infielder stat. That's just bad, guys. That's just bad. Eddie Taylor isn't terrible. But I'm not going to give up Toriente. I do need that additional piece to the puzzle. But I will, however, remove Jones and Robinson and see what it would take to just get. Really? Eddie Taylor's not that great. What if I offered you from the reserve roster, like Edward Williams? No, he won't even consider that deal. I'm gonna submit the offer, and I'm gonna see if that moves the needle for him, but it probably won't. The thing is, I desperately need an infielder. It's kind of got me over a barrel here. But Torrent has been so good this year as a reserve. And while I know he probably wants a bigger role, oh, do we have personality profiles turned off? That's something I definitely want to be able to see. I think that is under rules, players, options. Or is that a manager option? It might be a manager option. No, it's not that either. Okay. I know there's a way to do it. I've literally done it all the time. It must be a global setting. Like, I refuse to accept that it's not the global setting. But apparently it's not. There's definitely a checkbox. I remember that quite clearly. There's a checkbox where you can set it to show the personality. You're probably all screaming at your screens, which is justifiable that I've missed it like 7 times, but I don't think I have been. Hmm. Scouting. Aha! There it is. I found it. We did it. We did it. Okay. I guess it for the trading. Do we make the trade? So here's the thing. The thing is, if we trade Toriente, I have no depth in the outfield. I have none. I have it not at all. I can't do it. I cannot trade Toriente if I'm not getting something really, really good in return. Hmm. Howie Shanks wouldn't be a terrible fit. He's not terribly engaging, but I imagine he wouldn't cost me very much. You're not letting me trade. Why aren't you letting me trade, game? Oh, can I literally not trade anymore? I can only confirm or reject offers that already exist? That's lame. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot make this a Toriente trade. I can't kill one of the most important players on the team just for an upgrade in the infield. That it's going to have to come from the reserve roster, is where it's going to have to come from. Red Lucas is getting there to the point where he might be a legitimate choice as a starting pitcher. I'm going to go ahead and return George Brett to his team. And we're going to use Henry Richardson as a reliever as well. And I think I'm also going to use you more often. Bill Holland is going to be emergency starter and long reliever. That I think is where he fits best. And then, my dear friends, then we try to solve this infield issue. Our Fletcher's probably decent enough, but okay. Why would Everett Scott literally not be one of my top backups at every infield position? I don't get it. Apparently, we really want Cristobal Toriente playing at every position like Bugs Bunny in the cartoon. All right. Hmm. All right. Let's play some baseball. I think we're already screwed though. Because here's the thing: Hank Severeid isn't cooling off. Wow. Thanks, game. Fuck you too. Man, if I would have fucking known he was gonna get hurt, I would have traded his ass. Oh well. I guess Tim Hendricks gets to come back. That's better at least. I can live with that. I can definitely live with that as a bench. Um, Earl Webb might be somebody worth trading. Um, just because he's a terrible outfielder. Like I could maybe squeeze him into first base. I will be right back, friends. I have returned. Sorry about that. Busy day, I guess. Right. Right. But yeah, I genuinely don't think we have a chance. It's not totally insane that we could still make the playoffs, but it seems really unlikely. Because the one thing I said was definitely going to happen has not happened at all. Hank Severeid is like 1% less awesome than he was. I really can't do anything about that, though. Like, there's nothing I can do if the other player's guy is just hitting that well. Um, and let's not lose sight of Wally Gerber being amazing, although a lot of that is position adjustment. Yeah, St. Louis has one hell of a team. I don't think there's any shame at all if we're not able to turn it around. Hope we can turn it around though. Our Fletcher is gonna retire. That's fine. Thank goodness for Wait Hoyt, right? Like this fucking man is single-handedly keeping us in things as some of our other pitchers have struggled this year. Um, Branahan's getting worse. Webb is what? Apparently Webb is back to pitching. What if we use Webb as a two-way player? How bad is he at pitching? Is he like the worst? You know what? He's not terrible. I'm gonna go ahead and flag him as a two-way guy, and we're gonna make him a reliever, just giving us a little bit more options here. Like you can also be a two-way player, and I'm gonna make you a long reliever. So if we need an extra arm out of the bullpen in an emergency situation, we have you to do the things. Yeah, fuck you, Oscar Charleston. You betrayed me when you kept getting hurt. I also think Joe Jackson was the right call, though. Fanny Brenningham was starter of the month. That's pretty good. Um, yeah, our single biggest difference between last year and this year, though, is that our Cy Young pitcher is not pitching like a Cy Young pitcher. Starting has gone from our biggest strength to one of our biggest weaknesses. Um, they always say you can never have too much pitching, and I guess that continues to be accurate. Um, we're just gonna have to hope that what we have is pretty decent. We also still badly struggle in the home run department. Um, I don't know what we can do about that though, because it's a large part. It's mostly the park that eats them alive. I think we're just never going to have big power numbers, and we're just going to have to accept that and probably try to draft players that are well suited for that particular role. Let us simulate to the end of this month. I could call up Red Lucas and give him some pitching appearances, I suppose. Okay, losing Molly Shang is terrible, terrible timing. Terrible timing. Oh my gosh, that could not have come at a worst possible time. I'm gonna go ahead and call up Red Lucas. Um, I'm not gonna let him start, but I am gonna let him pitch, and we'll see if he's able to make any innings before the season is over with. Losing Shang hurts a lot though. Like that's terrible timing, and it basically forced me to start Buck Ewing. No, Buck Ewing can't catch. Larian can sort of catch, so I guess Walt Larian gets to be my starting catcher. Oh, that is such a downgrade. I am not well pleased by the timing of that injury, Wally. Look, you're a catcher in your 30s, I get it, but still. It's no bueno. Earl Webb has secretly become good at playing defense. When the fuck did that happen? Huh. I guess Torriente is slightly more expendable than I thought he was gonna be, which is kind of funny. Not fucking Walt Shang, not fucking Wally Shang though. We got in the year with a bang. That's it. We've got to just start destroying other teams as frequently as possible. Man, if we could get the Browns in a series and like sweep them, that'd be pretty great. But I think we're already boned. I genuinely think we're already screwed. Um, 1 second. I am back. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, losing Shang sucks. So let's talk about our chances here. They're not zero, but they're very, very low. We have to basically win out to guarantee a shot. I do think we have a pretty good chance because we are playing some of the weaker teams, which does give us a possibility. However, we've just really got to hope that we can push past some of our recent issues. So, oh, let's do one game at a time just for fun. All right, the Yankees beat us. That's not going to help. And then we lost again. We're pretty much out of it now. Those are two games we had to win against a weaker opponent, and we failed. I'm just going to finish the regular season. I think that was the critical that we fucked up there at the end. Damn it. It's the Browns and the Phillies. Our fourth year, we do not make the postseason. And we'll do a quick retrospective after the World Series is over with. Great. Doesn't help me now, fucker. Good for the Browns, though. Never won a World Series in real life. So, issue number one. Issue number one. That really hurts us. We've been too good. You're like, what? But no, it's true. We've been too good. Which means our draft position has been terrible. And coupled with that, we have not had great drafts, period. So that's part of our issue. That's part of our issue. We struggled there. Thank goodness for Rabbit Moranville. I do think Rabbit Moranville was a key import, and I think having him play second base or shortstop, wherever he ends up playing, is really going to help us out. Because we needed that defense, and he offered plenty of it. Let's break down the offense. Did the hitters do their jobs this year? So, Heine Manouche had another fantastic season. Joe Jackson was great. Ray Grimes was great. Heavy Johnson was great. Wally Shang had a really good season too. Max Carey definitely hurt us. Chuck Dressen a little bit less so, but when your leadoff hitter is only getting on base at a 330 clip, that is a concern. That's a huge concern. And then maybe something we have to address. Max Carey may just be on the downside of his career. And I think we do have to move on from. Oh, he's also a terrible center fielder now too. That's fun. Yeah, we need a new center fielder pretty badly. That is priority number one in the off season is an upgrade from Max Carey. What else do we got? Like, is there any Cristobal Toriente getting hurt? I think was a big issue toward the end there. Oh my god, game, please stop. Stop. Thank you. He was a really good reserve. I think maybe we've been a little bit unfair to Mr. Toriente because he actually has been one of our better players. Shout out to him. we're always going to be limited by Fenway, specifically the lack of home run capabilities are always going to hold us back a little bit. Our pitching staff now. We had three great starters in Branahan, Hoyt, and Marshall. And if their ERAs were a bit higher than normal, I think a lot of that was the defense. And I do think upgrading to Rabbit Moranville is going to help. And I think if we can get Heavy Johnson into the outfield, an upgraded shortstop or second base too, I think that's going to help us too. Because a lot of our guys have fairly high ground ball percentages. Bill Holland struggled badly, and Joe Bush wasn't nearly good enough for what we needed from him. I do think a guy like Red Lucas might have a chance to crack the rotation over Joe Bush next year. Our best reliever wasn't that great. But it's hard to say that, right? Like, we're very much in an era where the vast majority of your innings are pitched by your starting pitchers. I think like a complete game percentage would be an absurdity. Did Ben Carr have a good year? I think it's hard to say that he did. I think that is a difficult argument to make. He led the league in saves, and he led the league in wins, and he led the league in games pitched. All this is accurate. But you know what isn't accurate? That he was a great pitcher. A 3.46 ERA is awful. In this time period, that's bad. That's 13% over league average when adjusted by park. That's not great. Not to mention the fact, by the way, that he walks people more than he strikes them out. To be fair, so does Lefty Wolf. Lefty Wolf has not solved that particular issue, which is always going to make him a dangerous pitcher to trust. We need a better bullpen. I think every year I'm convinced our bullpen is good enough, and then every year it turns out that I'm wrong. Henry Richardson may be the answer to this question, though. I definitely think Henry Richardson is going to get some opportunities potentially to show what he can do. But I mean, look, the difference between last year's team and this year's team comes down to two players, the first of which is Bill Holland. Like, whatever happened this year, Bill Holland was just awful. Which is terrible. He's 22 years old. He should not be burning out, but that's exactly what he did. He just sucked this year. There's no sugarcoating it. He got hit really, really hard all the time. Now, is it fair to perhaps say that maybe that'll solve itself, and next year he'll bounce back and be decent? Maybe. But he is pretty dumb, and he might learn the wrong lesson from this, so Bill Holland might be on his way out. Branahan's WAR sliced in half. Again, we had an issue with pitchers walking. That's interesting. Did all of you have, like, comically high walk rates? Branahan sure did. That is fascinating. His control isn't great. So maybe it's just not fair to assume that he's going to be like he was in 1922. He was still a good starting pitcher, don't get me wrong. Branahan definitely got the job done, but interesting. Thank goodness for Wade Hoyt, right? He had a fantastic season once again. He just keeps getting it done, and I'm very pleased about that. Very pleased. So starting pitching is also something that we need. I think we need to get at least one more, maybe two more starters. Wiley Marshall actually ended up having a really good year for us. Let's not sleep on Wiley Marshall. While he was definitely better for Cincinnati than he was for Boston, no, that's not true. He's actually better for Boston. There we go. So he was a nice addition, and I think he'll help stabilize us a bit. But what we don't have is top-flight talent in the rotation, and I do think Red Lucas has a very good chance to make the club in spring training. I genuinely think that's going to be a thing that he can count on. We really need a good draft. We need a draft where we can start adding in some of these depth players so we don't have to necessarily turn around and trade people. Also, our coaching staff apparently hates each other. You're unhappy. Why? Because you don't like controlling people, and we have two of them. Hmm. I mean, Connie Mack wants me to hire Bill Getman, but he's a terrible coach, is the thing. Good for relationships, I guess. I guess we can just not have him teach anything. You know what, Connie? He does have good relationships, but what about George Craig is actually a better choice, I think. Let's go for George Craig. Discuss, submit offer, done. That'll hopefully help with the chemistry a little bit. Friends, thank you very much for watching. Apologies for the couple of pauses today. I had people at my door. I had to go deal with that. But hopefully you're still enjoying the series. Um, this is definitely a downer compared to last year. We went from the highest of highs to the mediumist of the mediumists. And we're just going to have to figure out something else. Interesting. Connie Mack doesn't contribute at all one way or the other to personality. That's funny. I wonder if that's a change of like it doesn't matter for assistant GMs anymore. Anyway. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the 1923 Boston Red Sox and whether we might be able to make it back to the championship next year. Until then, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.